If you closed your eyes and thought back to a Tuesday afternoon in 1965, what do you hear? You probably don't hear the ping of a text message. You don't hear the constant buzz of 24-hour news. You hear the ticking of a kitchen clock. You hear the distant bark of a neighbor's dog. Maybe the sound of a screen door slamming shut. We lived in a world that was quieter, yet somehow much fuller. We didn't have GPS to tell us where to go, but we always knew where we belonged. We didn't have parental tracking apps, yet we felt safe. We grew up navigating a world bound not by laws written in books, but by an unspoken code, a set of unwritten rules that every kid, from the suburbs of Chicago to the small towns of Texas, knew by heart. These rules taught us respect. They taught us patience, and most importantly, they gave us a freedom that children today can only dream of. Let's take a walk down memory lane and revisit the code we lived by. The most important law of the land: be home when the streetlights come on. Before that magical moment, we were explorers. We were miles away from home, deep in the woods, or playing stickball 3 blocks over. Our parents didn't text us, "Where are you?" They didn't call us. They trusted us. But they trusted the lights, too. Do you remember that specific hum, that flicker? When the amber glow hit the pavement, it was like a silent alarm ringing across the neighborhood. The panic was real. If you were 2 blocks away, you pedaled that bike like you were in the Tour de France. Being late didn't just mean a cold dinner, it meant you broke the contract. That rule gave us hours of uninterrupted, unsupervised independence. We learned to watch the sky. We learned to manage our own time. We didn't look at a screen, we looked at the world around us. And making it through the front door just as Mom was setting the table, that was the first victory of the day. If you're thirsty, find a hose. Today, kids carry insulated water bottles that cost $40. We didn't even know you could buy water. If we were out playing tag or baseball, we didn't dare go inside. Going inside meant you might get stuck there. It meant chores. It meant wash your hands. So we hunted for the green snake in the grass. You remember the taste, don't you? That distinct flavor of hot rubber and metallic brass. You had to let it run for a minute, otherwise you'd get a mouthful of boiling hot water that had been baking in the sun. But once it ran cold, it was the best water you ever tasted. We shared it. We didn't worry about germs. We lined up, took our turn, wiped our mouth with a dirty sleeve, and ran back into the game. It was simple. It was communal. It was survival. Fear the look. Discipline in the 60s didn't always require a timeout or a long negotiation about feelings. Our mothers had a secret weapon, a weapon so powerful it could freeze a child in their tracks from across a crowded room. It usually happened in public, maybe at the grocery store, or worse, in church. You'd start fidgeting or whispering to your brother, and then you felt it. You turned your head, and there it was, the look. It wasn't a scream, it was a silent promise, a broadcast that said, "Stop it now, or you will regret it when we get home." And it worked instantly. We knew the hierarchy. We knew that public behavior was a reflection of the family. We didn't need to be told twice. That silence taught us self-awareness more than any lecture ever could. You can run, but you cannot hide, because the neighborhood watch is watching. I'm not talking about a security company or police patrols. I'm talking about Mrs. Johnson 3 doors down, or Mr. Miller, who sat on his porch all day polishing his car. In the 60s, our parents had a network of spies that would make the CIA jealous. We used to say it takes a village to raise a child, and back then, the village was very involved. If you threw a snowball at a passing car 2 streets away, your mother knew about it before you even got your boots off. How did they do it? The phone lines, the party line, the gossip over the backyard fence. At the time, it felt oppressive. We complained, "Why is everyone in my business?" But looking back, there was a beauty in it. Every mom on the block was your mom. If you scraped your knee in front of the neighbor's house, she came out with a Band-Aid and a cookie. We were protected by a shield of nosy neighbors. We weren't just individuals living in houses. We were a community. Respect the occasion, or as we called it, wearing your Sunday best. I look around airports today and I see people in pajama pants and flip-flops, and I can't help but sigh. Because I remember when stepping onto a plane or even just taking the bus downtown to the department store was an event. We didn't just throw on clothes. We got dressed. Fathers wore hats, real hats, fedoras or trilbies, not baseball caps. Mothers wore white gloves and checked their lipstick and compact mirrors. And us kids, we had scratchy wool trousers and shoes so polished you could see your face in them. Was it comfortable? Absolutely not. That starch on the collars was itchy, but it taught us something important: dignity. When you dressed up, you stood a little taller. You behaved a little better. You showed respect for the people around you and for the places you were visiting. We understood that there was a difference between the living room and the public world, and that distinction made life feel a little more special, didn't it? The rule of the unlocked door. If you left the house to go to the store, you didn't check the lock. Why would you? If you parked your car in the driveway, you often left the keys in the ignition, or at least in the sun visor. We slept with our windows wide open to catch the night breeze, listening to the crickets instead of sirens. It wasn't that we were naive. We knew bad things could happen, but we lived in a high-trust society. We knew our neighbors. We looked out for one another. Today, we have ring cameras, triple locks, and gated communities. We are technically safer than ever, yet we live in fear. I miss that feeling in my chest, that lightness of walking out the front door without a worry in the world, that feeling that the world was generally a good place and the people in it were generally good people. We didn't just leave our doors open. We left our... At 5:30 or 6 p.m., the world stopped. The TV was turned off. Actually turned off. Dad came home, hands were washed, and we sat down together. There were no trays in front of the television, at least not on weeknights, and there was certainly no, "I don't like this, can I have something else?" You ate what Mom made: pot roast, meatloaf, or those canned peas. You were a lifetime member of the Clean Plate Club, whether you wanted to be or not. But it wasn't just about the food. It was about the conversation. We had to talk. We had to listen. We learned how to debate, how to share our day, and how to sit still. You didn't leave the table until you asked, "May I please be excused?" It taught us that family was a unit, a team. No matter how bad the day was at school or work, for those 30 minutes, we were together, breaking bread. Yes, sir. No, ma'am. Please and thank you. These weren't just words. They were the currency of our childhood. We didn't call adults by their first names. It was always Mr. Smith or Mrs. Jones. Even if they were close friends of our parents, they were aunt or uncle. There was a boundary line of respect that you did not cross. If an adult entered the room, we stood up. If an older person got on the bus, we gave up our seat before the bus driver even hit the brakes. We didn't interrupt when grown-ups were talking. Some might say it was strict. I say it was civilized. It taught us that we were part of a hierarchy, that experience mattered, and that showing respect to others was actually a way of showing respect for yourself. In fact, boredom was mandatory. We didn't have 24-hour cartoons. We didn't have tablets or video games to fill every silence. If you told your mother, "I'm bored," she didn't hand you an iPad. She said, "Go outside and find something to do." So we did. We invented worlds. We turned a stick into a sword. We turned a cardboard box into a spaceship. We attached baseball cards to our bike spokes with clothespins just to hear that motor sound. We played kick the can until it was too dark to see. We lay in the grass and watched the clouds turn into dragons. That boredom was a gift. It forced us to be creative. It forced us to socialize. We learned that entertainment wasn't something you consumed passively. It was something you created actively with your own two hands and your imagination. We were the directors of our own adventures. The rotary phones are gone. The cars are silent computers, and the doors are locked tight. We can't go back to 1965. And in many ways we shouldn't. Progress brings wonderful things. But looking back at these unwritten rules, I realize we didn't just lose inconvenience. We lost connection. We lost a certain slowness that allowed life to sink in. But here is the good news. As long as we remember, those days aren't truly gone. We are the keepers of that time. It is our job to tell these stories, to teach our grandkids how to fix a toaster or how to look someone in the eye when they shake hands. Thank you for walking down this memory lane with me today. I have one last question for you. Which of these rules do you miss the most? Or maybe there was a rule in your house that I missed. Please leave a comment below. I read them all, and I'd love to hear your story. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more chapters from our shared past. Until next time, be home before the streetlights come on.